Moo. What's up, cows? It's your favorite vamp cow back at it again with more React Andy slop. Today, we'll be watching Bladed Angel. He makes a lot of videos talking about how car prices are insane and people are stupid for buying car prices. He's like my second favorite guy to go to. He's like the funny version of, what's his name? He's actually right here, conveniently enough, Zach Rios. He's like the funny version of Zach Rios. Zach Rios just shows people constantly complaining about their cars or car dealers or car salesmen not selling cars. This guy himself, he complains that cars overpriced and that's why they're not selling and are also just bad and overrated and don't work. So apparently he's talking about the insane car prices epidemic. That's the title of his video. So yeah, we're just gonna jump into it.
If you thought new car prices were bad, wait until you see how awful used car prices still are. Thanks to less buyers purchasing new vehicles due to their insane prices, more and more buyers are flocking to the used car market, which creates more competition and demand between buyers. So much to the point that we have 15-year-old Japanese commuter cars with over 150k miles being listed for 15 grand. We are absolutely reaching insane levels.
Imagine what? Imagine actually paying like $15,000 just to have a used car with 100,000 miles. Like, you don't know how well taken care of that car is or not. Under the idea that it was actually taken care of, alright, it's not a bad thing. But like 99% of car owners, 99.9, actually no, it's a little high, 99.5% of car owners, they really don't care about their cars. They just, if it has a problem, they get checked in. They only change out the oil when there's the oil light on. Even though, like, many people, they just don't. So, yeah, like, this thing has 100,000 miles, the likelihood of it breaking down and basically it being a useless car with a broken engine, that could literally happen in, like, a day from you buying it to maybe, like, 2 years. Even then, though, would you really want to pay $15,000 to have a car for 2 years? Is that really a good investment? The answer is no. The answer is no.
The auto market has gone high-end, making more profits by selling fewer, pricier cars. That also means more consumers than ever will be pushed into the used market, where supply is already tight.
You want to price them at $5,000-$6,000.
Yeah, everyone's trying to go for used cars, too, because all these new cars, they got stupid screens. Like, I don't think the average person likes having an iPad in their car that turns on or off AC, heat, heated seats, music. Anything else? I don't know. I don't drive a car. I wouldn't know. Thank the Lord I don't drive a car in current year. I've saved so much money without having a car. It's so awesome.
Built title. Like, the car game ain't even right no more.
The used car market is out of control. Carvana and CarMax are trying to sell used cars more than their original MSRP.
Now, thankfully, we're not all lobotomized, and several overpriced used cars have been rotting on dealerships all across America, and in general, sales have been down. And to all these poor salesmen wondering why we aren't bending over backwards for their overpriced slop, maybe just drop the prices, it's simple supply and demand. They used to.
No, but they can't do that. They don't get as good as a commission. They need to sell the car 300% more than what it's worth. So that way they can get a like 80% commission from the fee, and the other 220% goes to the dealership that they're working at. It's so important. They need it. You have no idea. It's just like it's just like football players, they need to earn more than $3 million a year. It's not enough. It's not enough. That money flies out of their pocket, man. You got no idea. They gotta fly out to their events. They gotta worry about their health care. Oh, it's horrible, horrendous. You just don't get it.
Us a few years ago.
Can you imagine spending $100,000 on a Jeep Wrangler? Do these dealerships really wonder why these cars are sitting here? This is a 2024 Jeep Wrangler 392 edition. 2024 still sitting on the showroom floor because guess what? It's almost $100,000. How about
what? $100,000 for a pink Jeep? Or maybe like a pinkish red, a reddish pink. No, it's a pinkish red. Yeah, at least a pinkish red Jeep. Jeeps look cool and everything, but I've heard that they have, like, terrible mileage. So, you're basically just paying for, like, the cool factor of having a half-decent looking vehicle that doesn't look like every other one. And then you're also having, and then, you gotta care and worry about, like, terrible gas prices, and also the fact that, like, Jeeps, as far as I heard, they also break down a lot, too. They are not a reliable brand. You're just paying for, like, the face of the car. You're not paying for the engine.
$3.92 edition.
You're paying for the lipstick on the pig, not for the pig. You're paying for the lipstick mostly on the pig. And the pig is just a bonus.
2024 still sitting on the showroom floor because guess what? It's almost $100,000. How about a 2023 Hellcat? Almost $100,000. Like, no one's buying these things. Are they kidding me?
Also, comparing disrespecting car salesmen
I do not know what a Hellcat
to
is.
disrespecting waiters, that's wild.
I have a theory that the same people who criticize salespeople are the same ones that mistreat servers
Hey, once again, he's putting Zach Rios on screen. Woo! Zach Rios!
when they go to a restaurant. Salesmen are
This is just all he does for content, and I love it. I eat this. I eat this slop up so good, so often, and I'm so happy about it. Zach Rios basically just sits down and watches the TikTok, and anytime they say anything stupid, he just looks at the camera like that. Every single time. I eat it. I love it.
service and hopefully improve your experience.
Luckily, the comment section's already said everything I wanted to say. A waiter recommending us food and helping us choose something, when they show us the menu, at least we know what they're showing us. The price is going to be the price, and it's going to come out in a timely manner, instead of car dealerships where we're waiting over 6 hours just to suddenly have the price changed by several hundreds or even thousands of dollars from fees and other garbage.
Servers don't lie to you to get you to finance your hamburger. Yeah, you don't go to a restaurant and you see in the menu that there's like a $15 hamburger, and then you like, you know, when your bill comes in, it's actually $50 because you have like $3 for the drink, but then you also have like $5 for the waiter fee. You have $5 for like the cooking fee. Then you have $5 for the convenience fee. Then you also have like another $5 for for the sitting fee.
Now, of course, is tipping
that is what car dealerships do.
culture a bit insane? Sure, but let's not pretend that's even...
I'm one of those shameless people. I always skip. I always skip the tip option. I never give people the tip. If they're working a job, you know, the corporation should just pay them more. Or the people that they're employed by should pay them more. I'm not gonna be financing, you know, your bills. If that sucks, if you hate that fact, that's too bad. Well, the only way it's really ever going to change is if I and other people continue to, well, you know, just always never tip. Tipping's out of control. Like, if it's one thing to sit on a restaurant and tip, but it's a completely different thing to, like, tip at somebody who's making you a Subway sandwich. It's like, bro, what do you mean? That is literally your job. What do you mean I'm going to tip you for that? I'm going to give you extra money for doing the bare minimum. What?
remotely comparable to getting scammed out of thousands of dollars on garbage interest rates at car dealerships. So no, salesman, no. People who are rude to you guys, vestigial organ of a career, because I still truly believe we don't need car dealerships anymore. It is genuinely like a vestigial organ. It is something that's just a relic of the past. Direct consumer should be a thing, and there are companies that keep trying to do it, but lawmakers and other current auto manufacturers will lobby against it. That way we just get trapped in this hellscape. Anyways, we're gonna continue this video on like my Facebook Marketplace.
Man, isn't it great to be riding around on a bicycle and never have to worry about any of this? The worst thing I gotta worry about is that if I go into like a state and I have like my e-bike on and I'm not pedaling, I could get like a fine for that at worst. But my e-bike, very specifically, my specific e-bike, I always have to pedal for it to even be using like the electricity on it, so I would never get fined or caught for that. The only way I really could get caught is if I have it on like the max setting and I'm barely pedaling. I'm still moving.
Reaction videos.
Even then, though, like most people would probably just assume that I have it on a high resistance. That's why it looks like I'm not pedaling fast.
So we're gonna look at some insane ripoffs, then get to some good listings before finishing off with some absurd listings to just lift the mood, you know? So on to chapter 1, the ripoffs. Letting kids have access to TikTok was a mistake, but letting dealerships have access to it was an even bigger mistake. Now, of course, the creation of TikTok is the biggest mistake. Bro, getting a Nissan Sentra for $30,000 is highway robbery. My brother and me paid a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of that for our Nissan Sentra that we shared together when we were just teenagers pulling together money in high school. You don't have to bend over and take all these fees and then just post a video complaining about it later. You're the one who still signed it. You had power to change the outcome along.
Isn't it crazy that COVID just like made every single thing just like 300 to 400% like pricier, and it never has gone back down, even though we've been out of COVID for at least 3 years. At least, like, most people were confident that it's over after 3 years. And we still have to deal with these outrageous prices for what reason? Why? Exactly, no reason.
They can't force you to buy these garbage prices, but if you're not a vocal person who's willing to fight back, then at the very least, stand up and walk out. Make sure to take the papers with you.
Hey, walking out and not paying for an overpriced car is already, like, taking a stand. You're causing these businesses, these terrible car dealerships to go out of business. That's already taking a stand and already proving that, you know, they're just selling garbage for way too much.
So you can just bring it to another dealership, because that alone is a form of negotiation where you can just put those papers down on their desk and be like, hey, beat this price. Post-tariff hype has slowed down to a point where these cars are sitting on lots now. So
we're back to 3 million new units sitting at dealership lots, 3 million brand new cars not selling. And there's over 800,000 old units, old inventory, 2025s, 2024s, and 2023s still sitting around.
Anyone who
You know what I heard? You know what I heard there? You know what I actually didn't hear? 0 cars that were 2018 and prior. I wonder why.
understands basic and supply and demand should know that the power dynamics are slowly shifting back to us consumers. It's not fully back in our power now, but I genuinely believe we are running out of stupid people. So make these dealerships work for—
We're running out of stupid people. Yes. I mean, even if you're just doom scrolling, you still kind of, even if you're doom scrolling, you can still like retain important information. They're likely not to, though, because with doom scrolling, you know, it gives you early. It's been proven with doom scrolling that you actually have a higher likelihood of getting dementia. But nonetheless, though, you can still, if you doom scroll in not leisure, casually, like if you take maybe 5 or 10 minutes out of your day, that's like fine, that's whatever. It's like over 30 minutes is a problem. You can probably retain information that, well, you know, of the fast content. And of course, all this information about how car prices are overpriced is usually a bunch of like TikTok creators.
Your payment as much as you
Telling
work
you about
for your
it.
paycheck. This is hard-earned cash. Spending 3 hours at another dealer to save $6,000 in fees makes sense for literally 99% of us on Earth, since unless you make $2,000 an hour, then you mathematically are saving so much more by just trying another dealership instead of signing and falling for these stupid fees. Like, yes, it's annoying to sit for several hours, but brother, unless you literally make thousands of dollars an hour, it is worth your time. So
Yeah, exactly. If it's your day off and you're looking and you really need to get a new car, take the time to actually look for one that fits your needs, and then go to the dealership, and if the dealership is not scummy, then buy from them.
hopping over to car gurus for a bit, why are 15-year-old Camrys still being sold for 15 grand, or rather, regularly
Why is a 20,000? What? 2010? 14,000? What? In what world does that make sense? Fair deal? Yeah, I don't think so, man. I mean, how many miles does it have on it, too? I don't think 14 grand for a 2010 car is a fair deal. It probably should be like 6 grand. Half that. If you can tell me that it has 0 miles on it, or maybe like 20, if it has like maybe 20,000, like $14,000. Okay, you know what? That's actually not too bad, because it's usually around 100,000 miles arc. That usually arc, yeah, the 100,000 miles point where cars start falling apart.
listed, since I know not a single one of these units are moving anytime soon, so they don't really count as being sold for 15 grand. They're just being listed as that. And the stupid ass dealerships, like I said at the start, they still have the audacity to ask the question, why is no one buying? Lower.
Wait a minute. Did that say? Hold on. 100,000 miles? No. 100,000 miles, dude. That car's worth 3 grand. Take it or leave it. What the Sigma? And what did the website say this thing was?
Anytime soon, so they don't really count as being sold for
The guy clicked on it. High priced.
15 grand. They're just being listed as
I
that.
wish
And the
they showed
stupid
what a
ass dealerships,
moderately
like I said at the
priced
start,
one
they still
was.
have the audacity to ask the question,
That
why
is
no one
insane.
buying? Lower your prices. I don't care if these have low mileage for their age. They're still higher mileage than a brand new car.
Yeah, the example shown does not have low mileage for its age. It's 2010, 100,000. As far as I've been told, 100,000 is like the breaking point for most cars. Like somewhere around there is when things start going haywire.
But you know what?
And then you, at that point, you might as well start, like, you might as well just get a new car.
Its brand new MSRP back in 2010. These MFs used to cost 19 grand new in 2010.
Whoa! Yeah, no, that's definitely overpriced. All right, so those things are definitely worth like maybe 5,000.
This market sucks so badly that cars 15 years later with way more mileage, way more owners, or even used as corporate fleet vehicles or getting into accidents cost only 4 grand less. Basically the same price as being brand new, but completely ran through. Completely delusional market we're in. I don't care if it's like a cult classic vehicle either, like an FJ Cruiser. It's a great vehicle still, really reliable, looks really cool. Still not worth 20-something grand, all right?
20 grand, a great deal? My ass, 2014, bro. That thing should be, if you can tell me it has 0 mileage, then maybe. Not for 22,000. Oh, it says it right there. Oh, I just realized 161,000, and you want to sell for 20? No, 137,000, 24 grand. No, what? Those are good deals? Who made this website? Who coded this website? They're retarded. Those are not good or great deals. Those are shit deals. What the Sigma? I'm covering the other one. Dude, what the why? It's so bad. I just can't believe it. It's so bad. And then, of course, as bro's saying, and then the sales would be like, guys, why is no one buying? Gee, I wonder why. It's like trying to sell a Nintendo DS. Imagine trying to sell a Nintendo DS that's used, and it has, like, dead pixels, where just part of the screen is black. And like, Nintendo DS, $200. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna pay for the luxury to have it and just sit on my shelf? Why would I want to play with a game system that has, like, part of it broken?
Get off your high horse. I don't care if it's a collector vehicle, it's still Toyota, and more importantly, it's still several years used at this point. Those should just be driven. Definitely just go check out my previous video, as well as my other videos, if you're enjoying this video so far, and like and subscribe for more weekly epidemic slop. Anyways...
Yeah, like and subscribe to my slop, too.
I'm so sick of all this hype around recommending Toyotas and Hondas. Like, sure, they're nice and reliable vehicles, and these are some of the most reliable years for them, but at these prices, I just want to vomit. Since it's still a Camry and Civic at the end of the day, these will never mentally leave my brain as a 5 to 10 grand car, because it's shocking to me that in 2017, when a 2012 Camry was only 5 years used, it costs significantly cheaper being a 5-year-old used vehicle than it does being like a nearly 15-year-old used.
But guys, inflation. How about we look up inflation real quick? What is the inflation from 2010 to 2026? 2.72, barely 3%. So a $20,000 car should at most just be 20,600? If I'm doing my math correctly? No. Yeah. Yeah. I am doing my math correctly. What the Sigmar? I swear I am. I'm kind of retarded. I gotta look it up just in case. Alright, let's say like 20,000 times 0.03. Yeah, you know, I'm like I said, I'm kind of retarded, but I was right anyway. Guys, listen, we need to sell this 2010 car that was 20 grand. We need to sell it for 20 grand with 100,000 miles. It's a good deal. Trust me, sir. Trust me, sir.
All these clown listings are for the inline 4 trim. They're not even the V6, and they're still asking damn near 14 grand. Get the hell out of here with that. Like, it's no wonder why the auto industry is having fewer customers than ever, and you bet your sweet bippy they will continue to get less and less customers until they lower their prices.
In 2026, the auto industry in the US is expected to sell about 1.5 million fewer units than it did when the industry hit.
Yeah, and and people are like surprised and annoyed at everyone using e-bikes now. Or e-scooters even. Like, I think it's corny when I see people with an e-scooter because you don't even have to pedal. There are, as far as I know, there's 0 brands of e-scooters where you can I mean, you can't even pedal with an e-scooter. You just turn on the electricity mode and it just zooms. It's so stupid. And then again, people are like, oh, why do so many people driving e-scooters now? That's dangerous for me as a car driver. Because if I hit them, I'm in trouble. Yeah, cry about it. Maybe blame the dealerships that are selling overpriced garbage.
Record sales about a decade ago. Annual U.S. car sales could fall to 13.7 million units by 2040.
It is the perfect storm.
Like, one thing, if you see like a kid doing it, I mean, then, you know, actually it's mostly kids. It is mostly kids. I've not seen a single, like, adult ride an e-scooter. But still, though, I think it's also corny when I see, like, an adult with an e-bike and they just don't pedal whatsoever. That's corny, too. At least, like, have a one where you have to pedal to make it work.
Isn't it? It starts with population declines. You're no longer a growth industry.
They want things to change, then let's start with changing prices for starters. Otherwise, they better get used to just having less sales. Technically speaking, demographic-wise, we're gonna run out of idiots because there's less and less people being born by the day, and most demographics in first world countries are actually on a decline. This is basically me saying that these automakers and dealerships better be prepared for the long game because in the next 10 or 20 years, sales might keep dropping, not just because they're gonna run out of idiots to go through, they're gonna run out of literal people to go through too when everyone gets a car they're satisfied with. Or, in this day and age, there's more alternatives than ever. Like, for example, K-cars are finally available for sale in the United States thanks to cafe laws being reworked and more companies trying to actually release smaller vehicles.
This is a brand new car with crank windows, no paint, no radio. Heck, it doesn't even have speaker. It's the Slate truck, and as you might be able to tell, it costs just under $25,000.
And
I would buy that. That's pretty awesome. I like that.
Heck, it doesn't even have speaker.
Dude, who needs a radio? I don't need a radio. I have Spotify. If I had a car, I wouldn't use the radio because I just have Spotify. I pay a monthly subscription. I'm just gonna have a speaker, like, either right next to me in the back, so I can just play music while I'm driving anyway. I don't need to, like, look at text while I'm driving either, because I'm not, like, a text Andy. I'm not a phone Andy where I need, oh my god, I got a notification, I gotta look at it. No, I'm not that important. If someone's texting me, they can wait as well.
It's the Slate truck, and as
that's also a pretty neat looking truck. I would definitely get that. Factory new, 25 grand? Dude, that's like a steal in today's age.
you might be able to tell, it costs just under $25,000.
And Gen Z in general has been showing a favorship towards sedans again because they're like, yo, SUVs are overpriced. They're also complete infant-killing death machines that can't even see like 14 kids stacked in front of it and will completely run over a Lamborghini because that's how big their blind spot is. And for people like me, I'm just going to keep riding motorcycles, and I wear an airbag, and it's already saved my life once. And even then, I just ride e-bikes more these days to just stay off the road entirely to help offset how much risk I'm putting myself in. I mean, with how common flocking is nowadays, I generally just don't care to use cars as daily transportation anymore because it's just a secondary form of ID that the government's going to abuse and get us into all sorts of trouble. I already talked about that in a previous video. Heaven knows we're all sick of hearing it. Go watch last video if you haven't.
Yeah, my mother was trying to tell me about that, and I thought it was like, oh, okay. I'm still one of those people where I'm just like, okay, listen, the government's already, like, spying on us as much as they can. If you own, like, a piece of technology, they're probably already listening. Even though they state that they don't, they probably already are. If you have an Amazon Alexa device or anything similar, they're also listening to that. There's nothing you can do. It's like whatever to me. I've stopped caring about people taking my data or nay.
Anyways, back to cars. A lot of people still ask me, what is a good first car? And I honestly don't have a good answer. Just kidding. It's me.
But I do like the idea of spiting the government and making it slightly more difficult for them to steal more data from you.
Miata's always the answer. On a serious note, I do think Hondas and Toyotas are overglazed right now, and Mazdas in general make for a great alternative to buy, not just the Miata. Regarding other Japanese cars, and Nissans, especially certain model years, have literal grenades in them disguised as a CVT transmission, so despite being cheaper than Hondas and Toyotas, I don't know if I recommend them the same way I can recommend a Mazda. I do recommend Subarus. They usually are still pretty nice, especially if you know to avoid the Subarus that were owned by Starbucks drinking daddy's girls who miss every single maintenance interval. You're gonna be fine with like actual cared for Subarus that were used. Maintenance records matter, owner history also matters, so make sure you know what the previous owner was like, get the Carfax, or if it's a Facebook Marketplace listing, just get a gauge of them, have a conversation with them, because you're actually physically there with them. Regardless, I still enjoy Subarus, I like the boxer sound, but take a look at Mazda prices if you want something Japanese, cheap, and reliable. And speaking of Mazda, we're moving on to some good deals. Chapter 2, the good deals. I refuse to listen to NC Miata boat slander. Y'all better leave this poor little car alone, and I love it. Anyways, if you want a 6-speed manual car that's not going to cost an arm and a leg in this economy and is basically built to be an autocross machine out the box, a used Mazda 3 or NC Miata is still very affordable. Mazdas in general, you can get like 5...
Okay, I'm seeing the prices. Those look pretty good. 131,000 miles for $5,000. I mean, it's not that good. 88,000 for 11 grand. Okay, I see one for 6,000 though for almost 100. That's I guess, I mean, that's that's slightly better than the 2008 Mazda. Well, it is a 2012
with way less mileage and fewer owners. and still pay less than what someone did for an older, more driven, more owners, more expensive used Honda or Toyota.
Only $3,900 for this 2016 Mazda 6, which is $2,500 under Kelly Blue Book. How?
Built to last, a series designed for someone looking to buy a used car that will go the distance without breaking the bank. Today we're talking about the Mazda 3. I actually own one of these, right there, 23 hatch. Absolutely loved the car. It was fun to drive, felt sporty, interior was nice, and it had zero mechanical issues.
Yeah, you do look like a rich playboy with that car. Even though it's not that, it's not even a luxury car. It's an old car. Old cars should still look beautiful in general. And like for now, today, I can't tell you the difference between like car brands anymore. They all look alike. Like you can show me like a Ford. Yeah, never mind. That's actually even that's an easy comparison. A Ford truck versus anything is literally the easiest comparison. I don't know. I just can't tell the difference between any other car brand. If you have a truck, you have a truck. If you have a car, you have a car. What's the model? What's the brand? I don't know. I can't tell. They all look the same. Unless they're like from 2015 and prior. In which case, then they actually had their own unique styles.
The reason we had to get rid of it was couldn't really fit a car seat in the back. The fuel prices right now, it gets great gas mileage, and it just looks really, really nice. At a lower price point, this car is a great alternative to a Honda Civic or a Toyota Corolla.
Reminder, I'm not a hater of those brands, but in hard times like this, we gotta adapt and stop just jumping onto the overglazed ones and making the situation worse and driving up their prices further. There are alternatives. Mazda is definitely slept on, and I hope it kind of sort of stays that way. I feel like everyone watching this video now knows about it, but both the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6, in my opinion, aged fantastically. They're one of the prettier looking sedans from their era, and they actually
they do look pretty good.
Drive pretty sporty too, since Mazda actually cares more about suspension tuning.
You see, when I hear the word like sedan, I think of like the mom car, where you're able to fit $300 worth of groceries. I guess in today's money, that'd be like $600 worth of groceries.
Compared to Honda and Toyota that mostly work on engine reliability. And as time has gone on, we've learned that most of these Mazdas have gone the distance and will continue to deliver in terms of reliability. So if you can cop a Mazda sedan for under 100,000 miles, it easily has another decade of reliable ownership left in it.
Really? I would be thinking that a car with 100,000 miles would actually be on the point of like breaking down, but I guess because these are, because of the model and the brand and the age, I guess not. I don't know anything about cars, but this is good to know since I may or may not one day have a car myself. I will very likely have to have a car myself, whether I like it or not, because I ain't gonna pay Uber fees. Uber fees, it's like $30 a ride. I do not have that kind of money. Imagine going to work and getting paid like $180 for the day, and then you spend like $60 just so that way you can come home. You can go there and get back home.
These prices are not bad at all. Another extremely underrated car for reliability has to be Volvos, with only the modern ones having some electrical gremlins. But to be fair, every car now has electrical issues since every modern car has 3 smart TVs and a home theater in their passenger seats, but modern Volvos are still really solid mechanically. However, since this is a video about used vehicles, we're obviously going to focus on the older ones. And the older ones, I tell you what, they're generally built like tanks, and you can still buy them at really...
The older ones look corny. Really? 100? I really don't know anything about cars. I thought 100,000 miles is when you usually break down. Maybe that's just today's cars, though. Maybe cars back then is not the case. You know, how about this? I just look it up. When does a car... What mileage? What mileage does... Do I even know how to spell mile age? What? Oh, that's when. What mileage? Fuck. What? Fuck you! M-I-L-A-G-E. What mileage is good for a used car? How about that? 12,000 miles per year of age? That's not a good comparison. What mileage is good for a 2010 car? Between 120 and 150? Finding a model with under 100,000 is considered an accident, but the maintenance history is more critical than finding the exact odometer reading. A 16-year-old vehicle should ideally have about 160 to 190,000 miles on the clock. Anything significantly lower is a bonus, but requires checking for signs of inactivity. Reliable brands like Toyota, Honda, and Lexus routinely reach 250 miles with proper care, whereas some domestic or luxury models may become costly maintaining once they pass 120. Okay. All right, that helps. All right, that helps me a bit. So actually, that's not. Oh, what? Yo, I can get a car. I can get a car, and I can still drive for like 120,000 miles for only $6 grand. Sheesh, that's actually pretty good. You can celebrate this now. I understand.
Just forget Volvo exists as a brand. You can even buy some of the nicer performance models for the car guys out there. They're pretty affordable too.
Best first cars to buy right now, part 4. The number 4, we got the Volvo S60R. Very underrated and reliable. It comes with Volvo's 2.5 liter turbocharged 5-cylinder, tuned to 14.7 pounds of boost, pushing 300 horses and 295 foot-pounds of torque. Only comes with 6-speed manual, all-wheel drive, 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds.
The older Volvo wagons easily hit 400,000 miles. They'll eat a flood and probably parry a nuclear explosion. And some owners have already hit 1 million miles on theirs and are still going. The highest mileage car in the world is still held by Volvo, and it's been held by Volvo for quite a few years now. This guy's now at 3 million miles and still going, and I remember when all the news stations covered him when he hit his first 1 million, but now there are several owners in the 1 million plus Volvo mileage club. Like, the Glazers and overpayers can keep hyping up the Hondas and Toyotas, but if you don't have a car at all and you are looking for a car, the boxy Volvos of yesteryear, they're probably going to outlive the end of humankind, so that's another good vehicle to look at. If you're not super obsessed with reliability and aren't scared to either learn to fix a car or just factor in a few more fixes and how much they're going to cost, then even used Ford Tauruses, Crown Victorias, or Chevy Malibus are something you can look at from what we now know as the golden age of automobiles, which is from 1995 to 2015. Anything after has too much planned obsolescence and is designed to fail because they want to keep shareholders' earnings and profit margins high. Anything older actually lacks too many technology to be daily drivable for the average non-car person because it
Yeah, it makes sense.
Either lacks safety features or it's just generally getting too old, or maybe rust got to it and corrosion got to it, right? This isn't me talking down to anyone. This is me just accepting the fact that 95% of car buyers who are watching are just shopping for cars as an A to B device, and they're not some hyper-obsessed car enthusiasts like me, and that's fine. So
yeah. Basically me. I really don't care. I really don't care how amazing it is or how bad it is. Just tell me what the best deal is. And if you can give me like the cliff notes, awesome.
They should look at the 90s onwards era. Anything from that era, like I said, is where we've honestly kind of peaked as a society in terms of car manufacturing.
Actually, I'll always be looking for the cliff notes. If you just tell me a car is amazing, I'm not going to believe it straight away.
Factory. There comes a point where I personally will give up some reliability for fun factor, especially if the gap is big enough. For example, I mentioned earlier in a previous video, I'm not scared of taking the cheaper car and fixing it up if I have to. The same goes for C5 Corvettes. If I spawn into this world later as a younger Gen Z and I didn't have the opportunity I had as an older Gen Z to buy my C7, because I will admit that's just pure luck, and I would not buy that car if I was born younger or had to buy a car in this economy. So I will be completely transparent about that. And remember, I've owned it for years, so it's like I think I deserve to be a little bit proud of it, because you know there's a lot of people who just change cars on social media nowadays. It's pretty hard to be in my shoes, keep the same car, and still be not just relevant but more relevant than ever. Actually, I love you guys. You guys have completely thrown my channel.
Nah, it's actually pretty easy. There's just freaks that constantly get new cars because they believe that, you know, they're no longer relatable because they don't have like the current year car. That's just an L for them. Like, they can cry about it. They can cope that they always are in debt. It's whatever. If you really care that much about having the modern car and being relatable, you're not that relatable to begin with.
Insane heights. I'm about to hit 1 million subscribers. That is still crazy to me. But yeah, the C5, if I was born in this era and had way less income and went through this job market, I'd gladly rock an LS1 and an old C5 for like 12 to 15 grand all day. Gas mileage on these cars is still great. Reliability is still rock solid. It does make me happy to see Corvettes actually return to their usual depreciation curve because I want younger Gen Zers to enjoy owning a Corvette. And I'm glad that we're off of that weird boomer BS from pandemic to 2024 where everyone thought they had a one-of-one something special. I know what I have, no lowballers, despite it being a car made in the multi-millions. These were never rare. Let's stop pricing them like they're rare collector items. It's probably not a good first car, but definitely a nice aspirational vehicle for someone to look forward to owning, since thankfully it's not annoyingly impossible to obtain these at the prices they're going.
It is a cool looking car, but for me, I care about practicality. Like, can it accelerate fast? Does it have good mileage? Does it look at least decent? Actually, it doesn't even have to look decent. Does it have a good mileage? Do I get a good mile per gallon with it? Do I have like decent, like at least passenger and like trunk space? I don't even need a back seat. I'm perfectly fine just having only a passenger seat. I will ride and drive one of those cars where it can only fit 2 people. I really don't care. Just give me like the best for my money for gas, because gas prices are stupid and annoying. In my eyes. It's just another like dumb fee you gotta like worry about and pay for when it comes to driving a car. So whatever has the best mileage, that's all I really care about. That's mostly what I care about. Even for like shopping, I don't even really need big shopping. I can spend $25 a week and I have all my like food needs taken care of.
But this,
and I can tell you $25 worth of food is not a lot, especially with current day money.
right here, there is no debate. That is bull. you're charging almost $5K for 1/5 of a car.
For the final chapter, let's take a look at some absurd listings to just lift the mood. When it comes to used cars, especially in marketplace, it's an
let's go funny time.
actual minefield for what you're about to stumble on. And damn, opening up this website.
What does?
Never disappoints.
We gotta get off of this.
A 45 grand replica Lambo kit built on a V8 Cadillac North Star, but
It's driven 777 miles. 2010 Lamborghini Murcielago SV, 45,000. That doesn't look like it has a roof, so anytime it ever rains or it snows, you can't even drive that thing.
geez, it's unfinished as hell. Definitely would not recommend buying this, obviously, but I just find it funny that we can even find something like this, and I'm kind of impressed.
I can say it looks. You definitely would the talk of town with that. It looks cool. But you'd only be able to drive it during like warm to hot sunny days.
By its proportions, it actually has the stance of a Mercy, and with Mercy prices these days, maybe it might be worth someone. I never hate on replica cars if they're done well, since they can actually be driven on the road instead of stored in collectors' basements. I already whined about this in my consumerism slop epidemic, where I genuinely hate collectors treating everything as speculative investments because they've ruined all hobbies post-pandemic. Just listen to me yap more about it over there. It's cool to see more and more companies are actually licensing legal replica kits so customers can enjoy timeless classics with modern safety features and modern suspension and frame. It's no longer a toy exclusively for the rich because they—
What? $3 million not sold. Gee, I wonder why.
So
probably because it looks ugly.
In the millions.
It's okay if you're a collector and you care about collecting vehicles, but it's always so funny and corny whenever collectors are like, guys, please buy the thing I collected. Please, I need the money now. Well, maybe you shouldn't have spent all your money on just like collecting a bunch of things that you don't use and you just barely even look at. That's like buying an anime figure and then hiding it in the corner of your room while it's also behind like 3 other anime figures. Like, what was the point of even having that? You don't even see it. You're not able to appreciate it. You're stupid. It's the same thing with a car. You're buying a car just to keep it in your garage. And then you just go on your garage sometimes like, wow, this is such a cool car, and you never drive it. You're stupid.
Now, while we're on the topic of Lambos, I'm gonna just
Cro-Magnon behavior.
It appears to be a custom lifted Countach replica, but get this is not a car. This is a constitutional right. It's apparently built on a 1989 Chevy Blazer frame, and it has a 350 Chevy V8, which is a really common swap for most replicas. Parts are plentiful for this engine type. It's great for parades, but also scaring HOA presidents and driving over curbs you don't respect. Hey, whatever. He's got some funny features listed. It's a good read. This is a good, you know, he's willing to trade for literally anything. It seems kind of crazy. So for 25 grand, I think the picture speaks for itself. For 6 grand, you got this weird Volkswagen kit car. He's trying to turn it into some supercar. It looks cool, but I think it needs a lot of work, especially for that price. Now, for a third of that price, you can already buy this fully moving 2007 Honda Silverwing that's been converted into a land-based jet ski. And of course, this is listed in Alabama because this is the most Alabama thing I've seen my entire life. And you also have this Alfa Romeo Giulia that's going for like 16 grand. And hold on, pause. Am I on the crack pipe? Are they actually this cheap now, or is this like a down payment scam that usually happens on Facebook Marketplace? Give me a moment. Okay, so I googled it. Even though his listing is 50K miles and it's 2021, which is only 5 years ago, turns out, yes, this is actually their prices now. So you can actually find 2017 models that are even cheaper than his listing. You can get this sedan that is newer than most.
Yeah, I was gonna say that actually did look like a pretty good price.
Honda and Toyota sedans for the same price, but way more prestigious. I know maintenance on these cars is gonna be completely horrendous, but if someone is already going to make the dumb decision anyway, and people are already buying 100K plus trucks and SUVs to flex on people who don't even care, you know, why not flex this Alfa Romeo for a fraction of that?
I love hearing about people buying overpriced vehicles and then trying to like flex on them and then being surprised nobody cares and then being sad and depressed and now they're in debt for a car that they actually don't even like because there's a whole bunch of like features or it's different from the other car. And the other car they liked more. / truck.
That cost. Because even if it doesn't run half the time, just having it sit in your garage for 60 grand to show off to your neighbors if you really care about image is still an insane bargain. Like, if someone has FU money, you can buy this just as like a showpiece in your living room because I didn't know that they're like this cheap now. And I did mention this in previous videos with BMWs and Mercedes.
Yo, imagine being like the parent to then buy like one of the worst cars ever that has like 250,000 mileage and then convert it and then actually taking that inside the house and then convert it to a bed. That'd be a lot of work, but man, that'd be so cool for the kid.
And other luxury brands, they really do depreciate to dust, which is why I don't understand why TikTokers are loaning brand new BMWs and Mercedes for double the price due to 29% compounding interest.
I mean, having the car bed as a kid was always the coolest thing. You were seen as the cool kid if you had that.
Rates paying damn near 200 grand on a 7-year loan, knowing full well.
But having a real car bed, one that's not even made out of plastic, one that's made out of metal and glass, ooh, I can only imagine.
Oh, 7 years later, that car is going to be worth like 10% of that. I cannot wait for Car Guy.
I don't know. Would mattresses even fit inside a car? Then how about that? Let's see. Would a full size mattress fit in a 2010 car? Would not. No! Alright, a standard 2010 sedan. The trunk is too narrow. If your car is an SUV or minivan, it may fit flat if you fold down the seats. Oh. It's like, no, the thing's thinking like, as if I'm gonna, like, ship the mattress with me.
To eat so good when TikTok moves on to the next trend, and when the car economy inevitably eventually crashes, we're gonna run out of stupid people eventually. We're running out of population, like I said with demographics earlier, right? Now the downside is these cars will be clapped to hell because if they're owned by a TikToker, they're probably gonna be really abused. But hey, if you're a real car guy, hey, just fix them up. Be a little patient, take to someone who can fix it up. And if you're buying them for a super cheap bargain a few years from now, maybe you just have a few extra thousand prepared to do those maintenance, right? So to finally conclude this video, you can buy a freaking plane for the same price as used Toyota Camrys. If that's not the perfect encapsulation to showcase just how insane this market we're in is, I don't know what else is. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today. So if you like this,
yep. Car prices are overrated, insane, crazy, unbelievable. Buy used cars and then just make sure you're buying a decent used car that has, I don't know, I guess around 100,000 miles. That's ideal because the average 2010 used car can apparently survive to like around 250,000, especially if you take care of it. I know one guy in particular, he has a car that he, and I think he said that he told me that he got that thing up to like 500,000 miles somehow because he took over it like daily, like it was actual child. Now I don't know how true that is, but hey, you know, if you take care of your technology, it lasts. But on that note, I'll see you vamp cows next time I feast upon my next victim. I said that too early. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe on Bladed Angel's video. Link in the description. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe on my video too. Bye. Did you enjoy that video? Did you hate it? Well, be sure to like, dislike, comment, and subscribe if you want to see my next wonky slosh take.